North won the toss. They kick to the city end, to the right of screen, actually. So it's the right of screen for North. Thought we were right. Hocking first touch. Blakey will be important to Roberts. Oldest player on the field at 32 years of age. Taken away from him. Melbourne back to Buddha. Hocking's kick all right to the pocket. Houlihan front spot. Reasonable effort still with Houlihan. Looks for a free kick. Pike with him. King comes away. Bursts away, as he so often does. Doesn't kick it all that well. It was touched off the boot. Play on. Kilpatrick kicks to half forward. Good one. Gets Melbourne. Two early touches for the kid. The 20-year-old. One of two rookies out there tonight. Both with Geelong. They've got the only rookies. They've got the only teenagers. Riccardi makes a lead. A testing kick. 52 metres out. Keeps it low to the front of the square. Barnes. Well done, Archer from the front coming in. Roberts at the back. Belting it through. Four are behind.
Yeah, desperate defence there. Just so important when the ball lobs in the goal square from the long kick that it goes through for a behind. OK, gives the opposition 1 point, but you get the ball back and you start again.
Robbo, welcome once again.
Good on you, Bruce. Looking forward to this. I think it'll be a good game, as Couchy said. A real blinder. Anthony Rock, great to see him get into the game very, very early in the piece. Mansfield did take the mark. Now must come back and kick over the man on the mark. He was looking to be advantaged by maybe a play-on call, but as soon as the umpire blew the whistle, of course, he's got to come back and kick over the man on the mark. Michael Mansfield has been a tremendous player for Geelong over a number of seasons now. He's just behind the centre circle, and he kicks it, and it'll land about centre-half forward for Geelong. At the back, the chances with Bell. Tackled by Burns, but he got the hand pass away to Archer. Look at the determination written all over his face. He kicks it high out, wide, towards the wing. McGrath couldn't take the mark. King does well. Gets it back towards the half-back area. Good transference of play by the Cats. The kick by Colbert goes to centre-half forward. Nearly the mark to Lynch. It spills to the front. Overrunning it is Scott, a former Geelong player, of course. Riccardi puts the pressure on. Archer dives on the footy. Stoneham's got him, and the ball all locked up at half forward. Left for the Cats, about 55 metres from their goal.
Good umpiring there. There's David Howlett, Andrew Coates, Mark Nash. Must be 50,000 here at least now. Martin probably just won it. Schwass, long and hard to Carey. Makes it. Good effort. The King in the centre. Goes on quickly. Lovely kick to Longmire. Will it sit? Longmire trying to run onto it. Push forward. King little toe poke. Simpson, who offensively is actually going to tag Shoal.
Geelong have scrambled to behind. McKernan gets his right foot to it. It's in the square. Simpson not able to get his foot to it, and eventually helped over for a rush behind to the Kangaroos by Tim McGrath. Magnificent mop of red hair, Tim McGrath. Now Graham. Well, if he's playing on Carey,
this is the problem, isn't it? He's going to kick the ball in, but he's going to be 150 metres or 100 metres from his opponent, Carey.
Oh, what a magnificent kick in. That went 65 metres.
60-metre pass that was, Robbo.
Wasn't it a beauty? Lynch was on the end of it. His short pass has found Gary Hocking. He goes out wide. Underneath all that was Melbourne. He's going to get a free kick. Maybe the umpire saw that is illegal, as in dragging the player down in the marking contest. Milburn kicks to the half-forward area. At the feet of Barnes, but his athleticism enabled him to gather the ball. His kick towards full forward is well marked by Archer, and he has been prominent early in the game, Glenn Archer. Third possession. And pass away to Anthony Stevens in the left back pocket for the Kangaroos. He kicks it away, but he's going to give it up because the first player back will be in a Geelong jumper, and it's Colbert. Colbert switches play wide to close to the line, and it's been well marked by Ronnie Burns.
Crocker off and Freeborn on in a quick change for North. Freeborn going to the defence by the look of it. The kick by Burns forward. Here's Pike towards the line. Gee, ran it over. Didn't disguise it. He might be in trouble. No, boundary throw.
Yeah, what happened down there, Peter Bell was actually caught out as one of the 6 defenders, had no small forward because King is on Burns. So Bell's been pushed forward, and Crocker off, and Freeborn into defence.
Well roved by Houlihan, hooking the ball back to full forward. Archer, who won the Norm Smith last year, has started brilliantly. He can terrorise a forward line at times, can't he? He's such a powerful and aggressive player. His kick out wide, Rock started well too. He's had a knee injury for a few weeks. He was a star in the grand final. I know we're going back, but that's when we remember North at their best. Carey, wonderful. This is a good start.
That's what North want, Carey to win those one-on-one body contests.
Long bomb to full forward. Craig Scholl, the target. Had a fair bit of it. Play on. Riccardi, well done to Mansfield. This is a good game of footy. Mansfield's away. Gives a handball to Bluey McGrath.
Yeah, shares it with the key defender. Back to Riccardi. Riccardi's short pass is good. In front of his face. Taken by Stoneham to Hocking. And Hocking's pass is good as well. And that's been marked by Melbourne.
Precise disposal. What a 5 precise gives and gets and accurate disposal.
So third kick coming up for young Melbourne. Second mark, he would be half a chance to score. The player on the mark is about 51 metres from goal. And Melbourne does kick long. And it's well marked by Lynch. So a real chance for the first goal of the game here to Paul Lynch for Geelong.
He is just a terrific mark for was only a medium-sized player. He's been picked up by John Blakey. Just a good leap, wasn't it? He had to just keep his balance in the air and get the second grab on the way down. But Lynch and McKinnon, Houlihan, Milbourne, good medium-sized floating forwards, all doing well for Geelong.
Well, maybe you get a bit of an idea. That off to the left is the boundary line, but it was no problem for Paul Lynch. He's got the first goal.
Well, yeah, it's been a dynamic start. I don't think Geelong have made a disposal error at this point. Statistically, over the season, they have been the best at holding possession, and this really was just a long kick in. They're not easy to take these marks in those packed situations in the goal square, but Lynch, a very deceptive mark overhead.
Well, Gary Ayres talked about Lynch after that win in round 15, and he started well with a goal. Pickering kicks the ball forward. Freeborn running hand passes a beauty to Schwass on his wrong side. Kicks it very wide to Rock and out of play. So boundary throw in. There's Gary Ayres. Seven to 1 it is. Cats lead by a goal. McKernan. Bell off the ground. Clever, actually. To about 50 metres now. Carey beautifully done. Allison will kick this. Oh, of course he will. Carey. Sensational play by the skipper.
Yes, we've seen many, many times that Allison's got to the fore of the ball in front of the Carey marking situation. But this is just how good Carey is at ground level. A get and give. And Allison, once he's heading towards goals with space in front, Sean Simpson has been given the defensive role. But Allison charging at the goals normally finishes, and he did that time.
Matthew Campbell.
Yes, you mentioned earlier on about Craig Scholl trying to get him loose in the back line. They made a three-way change after he went upfield to pick up Bell, but they successfully dragged him back to the goal through Anthony Rock.
So that goal, kicked by Brett Allison, has levelled the scores early in this very big game here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the first Sunday night match here in Melbourne. The ball back towards half forward. Now, there's a holding incident there. You would have thought, looking at it, that both players were equally as guilty, but the free kick has been awarded to Martin. Out to Anthony Stevens, in turn to King. King's long kick is very effective. Getting rid of his opponent was Carey. And Wayne Carey, having an impact on this game, goes in and misses everything. Absolutely missed everything.
Well, I must say he missed the goal, and that's a missed opportunity, but he has looked strong in the marking contest, Wayne Carey. That's going to be a danger sign for Geelong.
Barnes has marked the kick in from the resultant free kick in that right back pocket. He's about 70 metres from the goal at which he's defending. Simpson takes and then gives to Gary Hocking. Out wide Melbourne. Probably caught in slips from that, but he's able to get back and maybe retrieve his position. Not able to control the footy. Boundary throw in. Right half forward for Geelong.
Gee, they're working on Crocker's calf by the look of it. He's had so many injury problems throughout his career, hasn't he?
Bad luck for North Melbourne early in the game. Longmire not able to really clear from the ruck contest. McKernan, strong at the footy, had another go at it, couldn't control it. Colbert, still a struggle, knocked out of there by Robert Scott. Riccardi bumped off the footy. Burns is very, very skillful, and Ronnie Burns hooks the ball too far. He has registered a score, a behind to Geelong.
And it's interesting, something we see a bit off the ball, that McKernan has started in at half forward. Lee Colbert is his direct opponent. That'll be an interesting situation. McKernan's hot, Colbert just that bit more mobile.
King to himself and then trying to get distance. Scotty's target. Mickey Martin to do the roving at centre wing. He has to wait for it a bit. Well done. Just got rid of Riccardi. Scott backed him up well. Boundary throw in. Carey and Graham, and I think a throw in, yes. Andrew Coates onto it pretty quickly. Paul Couch and Ian Fairley. I think you can hear me. I mean, the juices must be flowing watching a game like this early days.
Yeah, we're a bit toey here, Bruce. I can say that's a real good game, and you'll see it pretty close all night. I think the defences are going to have a fairly big say in this.
And Ian Carey's start has been great, hasn't it?
Yeah, Wayne's a really big-time player, and tonight he's really showing that.
Well, I reckon right now it's all square. I mean, it's 1-2 to 1-1. It's been a great start for both of you.
It looks pretty ominous, Carey on Graham there. There might be a change early there with probably Tim McGrath going on.
OK, we'll watch that, Paul. Hocking's handball to McGrath in trouble. He's going to get a high tackle and a free kick. It was a fierce tackle by Rock. No, going the other way, holding it. Well,
the wry smile there, I think, tells the story. I mean, he did get rid of the ball, and he did get rid of the ball fairly quickly.
Yep.
I think what he may have played is the high arm contact that McGrath made with Rock to fend off the tackle.
I looked at the umpire and he indicated high, and I thought he was going the other way, but he was obviously, that was the reason he's given it to Rock. It was a good tackle. It was a gutsy tackle by the little fellow. 45 out. Distance will test him. Goes for it. Just pushing. 4 kicks for Rock are behind. Scores a level here. Peter McKenna, your thoughts from the Great Southern Stand. You're looking at the forward setups of both teams.
Well, I think already, Bruce, you can see that the swoopers are going to be in to the fore tonight. Brett Allison swooping in, and of course Ronnie Burns down the other end, and Paul Lynch has already kicked the goal.
Graham kicks it to himself and then lobs the ball in the centre of the ground. King a good mark. Hand pass to Kilpatrick. Kilpatrick kicks out in front. The leading player. There was Houlihan, gathered by King. King for North Melbourne, kicks it wide. On the end of it is Longmire. Hand pass away. Roberts goes down the ground, kicks into the pocket, so it makes the angle a little difficult. Scholl back to Bell. Peter Bell. Snapshot, he's been downed after he kicked the ball, so the free kick will go down to the goal square, and it looks as though it might be Allison that's going to take it. And the infringing player was Mansfield. The runner will be hot on his tail, you would think. Brett Allison.
Yes, I would think so. You've just got to control your discipline. Once the ball has been kicked, you know, you've really just got to control it, and there wasn't much in it, but Mansfield knocked him over. Late bell, so Allison is probably going to kick a very easy goal from 10 metres out.
Did kick
so
7.
A very, very costly lack of discipline.
Kicked 7 straight against Geelong in the corresponding game last year.
Which is why Sean Simpson is his direct opponent, the Geelong's main stopper.
Well, he wouldn't miss from there, and he's got his second goal. North Melbourne lead by that goal, kicked by Brett Allison. They're 2-2, Geelong are 1-2.
Yes, it's just been a hot game, really, and you just can't afford to give away these goal-scoring opportunities. Bell did what he could. He just let the knees buckle and fell to the ground, and you got nothing to lose once you dispose of the ball. But the late tackle was on. North has started this game very well.
Kangaroos by a goal. Snell comes on. The interchange for Geelong. Houlihan off. Lynch through the centre looking for a free kick. So the Cats probably had the best of it for a couple of minutes early, and now North with the last 2 goals of the game, Allison having scored both. He's been in good form late, Allison. He's kicked 9 goals in his last 3 matches coming in. 35 for the year, and right now he's the leading goal kicker at the club. He's gone 1 past Scholl. 37 and 36 respectively. King's height helped him there. Blakey held up, had nowhere to go, and it'll be another ball up. Pickering, ex-North player, played a super game here. Often lifts against his own team. Doesn't have to lift too much because he's always good. There's the slow-mo. Nothing there. So the centre wing, McKernan off the ground. And a boundary throw in between centre wing and half forward. No surprises this weekend in terms of the seeded teams. Adelaide 4th beat West Coast 5th. Bulldogs 3rd beat Sydney 6th. And today 1 beat 8. And it's Geelong 2 playing 7 North.
Longmire just striving to get the front posse down to Pickering. Pickering for Geelong. Kicks it across his left shoulder to centre half forward. Snell was the high flyer. Well tackled by Freeborn. Spills to Melbourne. Gathered by Burns. Gives it away, but it was beautifully intercepted by Martin Pike. It was such a crucial turnover. Geelong were down the ground with an opportunity to kick a goal. Now it's back with Pickering on centre wing. He kicks into the pocket looking for Burns. And not able to take the mark. Gee, he was very closely minded there by David King. And the North Melbourne fans giving David King a round of applause for his efforts in that passage of play. Geelong interchange bench. Boys look pretty anxious there. Steinford and Sanderson, 2 of the players warming the bench at the moment. And Houlihan is the 3rd player. That's Stephen King being helped up by one of his opposition there, Robert Scott. The umpire will bounce about 65, 70 metres from the Geelong goal. They trail by 6 points. North Melbourne have kicked 2 goals too. Geelong are 1 goal too. Gathered by Freeborn. Dragged down by Stoneham. Ball back towards centre wing. Well taken by Lynch. Little kick is very, very good. Colbert, he spotted him, put it on his chest, and this is not bad either by Colbert. Spotted Pickering from about 35. And it was a precision kick. No one on the mark. Gives it to Kilpatrick. Out wider still. Bounce very awkward for Snell. Met by Pike. Pike kicks it away. Close to the line. It'll bounce away from Tim McGrath. And right inside the boundary line, McGrath's able to gather. And then the short pass to Melbourne is effective.
A few touches early, Melbourne. Kick inside, okay. Now Graham, I was going to say he's almost within kicking distance. He was at centre wing. But it's a poor kick to Stevens. Now there's no one at home. He's chipped it, wanting Carey to take one. Carey pushes forward. Again, no one there. Mansfield's got hold of it. Runs away. Was supported with a good shepherd at the back there by Ben Graham. The kick is wide and not very handsome, and McKernan takes the mark anyway. Play on call. Corey comes away. Kicks the ball back to centre half forward. King there. Goes to build it away. Longmire was at the back. King does the roving. Good give. Taken by Scholl. Scholl comes through half back. Delivers to centre wing. Good kick to Lynch. Lynch has been very, very promising early. Such a smooth mover. He's got Barnes wide at half forward. Decides against it. Still not certain. It wouldn't be in his nature to waste one. He'll want to put it to the advantage. Kicks inside 50. Barnes, Stoneham, good effort. Martin there. Ball goes to ground. High tackle, surely free kick. It'll come back to Buddha. They're all over him. So Buddha from 55.
Yeah, probably too far out to score for Gary Hocking, but he'll certainly put it very much in the danger zone as far as the Kangaroos are concerned. The short pass, Pickering is on the end of it. Good lead, and he lets David King know all about it too. 2 tough nuts, 3 tough nuts. David King, Liam Pickering, and Anthony Stevens.
And Anthony Stevens, the direct opponent of Pickering, Swash taking Hocking. Bell and yeah, probably a high tackle that one, not too much doubt. But you got to see it.
Wayne Schwass, the infringing player there, would be probably disappointed with giving away that free kick. But it has resulted in a shot for goal from Liam Pickering from about 30 metres. Difficult angle. And he has just missed. So not a good result, but it was a difficult shot for goal. Geelong trail by 5 points. David King to retrieve the footy and kick it back in. I walked across the ground, and we did have a little bit of rain fall here in Melbourne this afternoon, but not really enough to affect the ground conditions. And you can see the players holding their footing, kicking the ball and marking it pretty well. Gary Hocking for Geelong to the front of the goals. Knocked away from McKinnon. His recovery pretty good. Not quite able to keep his footing. Snell now brilliantly taken by Pike. Aggression at the footy. Martin Pike slaps it onto his left foot. uncontrolled. Overrunning it was Graham. Terrific stuff provided in support there by Simpson, and he races it over the boundary line for a throw-in when it did look dangerous for the Cats. North Melbourne on the prowl.
This is a really quick game, isn't it? Any side that doesn't take the possession first time, the other side are turning it over and rushing it forward very quickly. It's 50 to 50 at either end at this point.
Pike's been good with not so great with the disposals, but a couple of cut-offs have been fantastic. Interceptions. The kick by Stevens, good to Shoal. It's a fair way out. There's a couple of defenders on both sides of the ground that let you know you're there, don't you? You wear them for a long time. First kick for Shoal to full forward. Carey sets himself with Roberts. Rock, well played by Shoal. The back, Graham back to Carey. Goal. He's got one. I know it's early, Lee, but you just get a feeling it might be North's night. Just a couple of things are happening, aren't they?
Yeah, that little bit of good fortune's gone that way, their way. I mean, that time Graham hand passed the ball, but it just rebounded, unfortunately for him. Back to Carey. There we are, straight off Scott, I think it was. Very easy goal to Carey in the end. Yeah, there is a... I heard it once said that football's a game of injustice with an oval ball, and that proves it, I think.
Well, I think North Melbourne, they'd be very pleased with Wayne Carey's start in this game. He's kicked a goal, but he's had some very important touches. Geelong will break away from the centre. Melbourne do Kilpatrick. They trail by 11 points. Kilpatrick across his body, lands at centre-half forward. Snell, well tackled, well locked up there by Glenn Freeborn. No free kick. Good, clean, effective tackle. Longmire, Colbert's the tackler. Ball spills to Bell. Reasonably well tackled, but he's able to knock it on, so his second effort was good. Anthony Stevens, a high kick to the goal front. Shoal keeps his footing. Allison, snapshot by Brett Allison across the face and just sneaks in from behind to the Kangaroos, kicked by Brett Allison.
An interesting situation, Michael Mansfield on Craig Shoal. I don't think Mansfield is nearly as comfortable on the last line of defence, virtually playing as a full-back. We'll watch that contest with interest.
Rodney Eade gave him a big rap, didn't he, on Talking Footy on Monday night, Mansfield. He thought he was so important to the Cats.
But as an attacking halfback, he's not going to be able to attack off the full-back line.
Got the kick then to Pickering. Pickering wide. So much homework goes in from both sides and the coaching setups. Well played, Barnes. They're on here. Lynch could goal here. He's 48 metres out on the run. He's normally a good kick. Look at this one. Magnificent. Well played, Barnesy too. Lynch has got both of them. Gee, what you don't give for a finisher, Lee, and he is a finisher.
Well, he was able to just get off the ball. We see Barnes take the mark here, and Lynch had got clear 30 metres ahead when his North player came forward. And then it was just a question, can he get close enough to keep the ball on line? He kicked the ball from 48 metres, decent angle, but the slight swing of the leg brought it back. Good goal.
Well, a terrific kick by Paul Lynch, his second goal. Geelong trailed by 6 points. King got it down, but only as far as Peter Bell. Bell's high kick will land at centre-half forward. Graham and Carey. Ball at the back for McGrath. Able to assess and then coolly get it down the ground to Pickering. Pickering's kick towards half forward at the feet of Melbourne. Difficult ball to gather. Longmire did well. Hand pass not quite far enough. Pickering does brilliantly. Hocking, quick hands, terrific stuff. But cut off there by the Kangaroos around the middle of the ground. David King slaps it onto his right boot. Kicks at the half forward. Well marked by Ben Graham. Shares it with McGrath. McGrath short. And he's found King. Such a mature way he goes about his game. Stephen King, a teenager. A high kick over the top to McGrath. The two 17s confront each other, but McGrath has the mark. 21 plays 15, North Melbourne lead. We've got 2 minutes left in such an entertaining first quarter of this big final. Sunday night at the MCG on 7.
McGrath's kick, Blakey tried to, Stoneham ran smack bang into Lynch, but got the handball out. Milburn to the pocket, neat, good mark by McKinnon. Now he's a thumping kick, this fellow.
He's extremely quick off the mark, McKinnon. Not so much a body player, but when he got on the lead then, it was very hard to take the ball when you're running flat out and just take the ball above your head, particularly when Glenn Archer's breathing down your neck.
Peter McKenna. It's a tough kick, but he's got some hope, I think.
Well, he's a left footer. He's on the right side of the ground, and he is a thumping kick, but he only kicks 50% of his goals. That's a good-looking kick.
Close. Just missed, Pete. Peter, the forward set-ups, I know you talked about them earlier. Any other impressions?
Well, the impression is that Geelong really have to get it down to their forwards a lot more quickly than what they have been, Bruce. They've been kicking to packs. When they're on the run very quickly, they score goals through their swooping players.
King's kick. Out towards the other King. Scott, well played. Pushing on. Roberts, but Kilpatrick got there a bit quicker. Riccardi's there with Bell, who's been busy. Boundary throw-in at centre wing. We're deep into this first quarter. It has been a great start here.
These four players, what you're trying to get here, you're trying to get Simpson onto Scholl, and then Scholl's trying to get onto Rock. It's those four have been running around with each other all first quarter.
Gee, a couple of good handballs there by the Kangaroos. Short kick by McKernan has been marked by Colbert. Looked dangerous then, the Kangaroos. Just seconds left in the first term. The handball away to Graham. Another fairly long kick. Stevens and Pickering. Anthony Stevens gets his left foot to it. Gathered at the wing area by Longmire to Bell. Just enough time, maybe, if everything happens right. Ellison fumbling. Handball away to Roberts. Roberts will nearly kick a goal and the siren will sound. Roberts' kick, just offline. It does score. As the siren sounds, it scores a behind for North Melbourne. Mark Roberts was the player to kick that behind for the Kangaroos. Gary Hocking has been terrific. He's had 9 possessions in that first term, and at quarter time North Melbourne lead this match by 6 points. They're 3-4 to Geelong 2-4. Geelong's goal kicker has been Paul Lynch. He's kicked the 2 goals for the Cats. North Melbourne, Allison has kicked 2. Carey has kicked 1 at 6 points the difference at quarter time.
So we're about to start the second quarter. David Howlett holds the footy aloft. And here's a little bit of a to-do. McGrath, Scholl, Rock. Rock just taps Scholl on the head. There's going to be a free kick. Yeah. And now it's on a bit more. So free kick. We saw this today at Waverley Park where Stewie Lowe got a free kick in the third quarter. And it's going to go to King.
Yeah, the wrong player took it then.
So that little tap on the head by Rock has probably cost North a free here. There's basically nobody behind King when he takes the kick. So North trying to flood the back line. Good kick. Almost a chance there. Mansfield coming forward. Craig Scholl back there. Barnes, high handball. Kilpatrick. Good effort, Stevens, to take it off his boot, basically. Kilpatrick hard at him. A lot of players around the footy. And it's going to be a bounce about 50 metres away from the goal for Geelong. Here's how the Blues started, and then nothing much in it. And maybe I think it was that caused the free kick. Just depends on when the umpire's looking, I think, in a case like that. King's height over the top. OK, Burns tried to get it forward. Mickey Martin playing his 199th. Close. Oh, Mickey, good judge again. What a cult figure he is. Will he play his 200th in the final series? Or will it be this for 1997? He'll have to come back next year. They love him, don't they? And so they should. What a great stalwart he's been for the North Melbourne Footy Club. Milburn over the back. King against the flow. Didn't take it cleanly. Barnes. King went off the ground. Only back to Pickering. Clever. Milburn can square it all up. Good kick. It's close. It's a goal. Scores a level. Good start for the Cats. It's 3-4 apiece.
Yes, I'm never keen really when players turn the ball across their boot, but King didn't take it with him. That set this up, and then there's just a flurry, the kick off the ground. Have a look at Milburn. He turns it on his boot and keeps it on line well enough. I must say from that angle, I'm always a bit keener if a player faces the goal and kicks the ball straight, but it worked.
Paul Couchy and Fairley. Just early thoughts on the first quarter and the start here, Couchy?
Oh, well, the boys certainly steadied in that last 10 minutes of the first quarter, and just to handy that free kick and that first bounce, you know, that's very important to us to get a goal out of it.
Ian Fairley?
Yeah, I reckon the game's turning into a real arm wrestle, Bruce, and like I said early on, I think it's going to go either way.
Blakey for North Melbourne. Left foot kick. Now it's taken by Anthony Stevens. Long kick into the pocket. Bounces. Pretty well gathered in the finish by Colbert, and nicely done. Bundles end on her end, but it doesn't go out. Taken by Simpson. Simpson for North Melbourne, kicks it inboard. and Scholl has taken the mark. It's Craig Scholl. His kick towards the middle of the ground, gathered by Longmire, gives away a bit of meterage to Freeborn. Freeborn to Schwass. Now Blakey. Down the ground goes John Blakey. Oh, great mark. Vintage Carey. That's what we've come to expect from Wayne Carey.
Well, I think tonight is the first time I've seen what I would say is the old Wayne Carey, the pre-shoulder injury Wayne Carey, the way he's thrown himself at the ball. He didn't extend his arms here, but we often see Carey jump early and try and take the high chest mark, but he looks in normal physical condition tonight, Carey, and that is the kind of grab, 30 metres out, straight in front, we've come to expect from him.
What do you think, Pete? Peter McKenna.
I should kick them from here. He's a very relaxed kick at goal as he comes in, Bruce. He is a very balanced player and he places it on the boot, allows for the breeze.
Lovely kick by Carey. He's got two. 2 goals each to Wayne Carey and Brett Ellison. And North have the lead back again by 6 points.
Yes, that was just a... have a look at this. The ability to jump and mark 30 metres out from goal. You can't replace that. On that occasion, Ben Graham didn't get to the contest. He saw that Scholl was there to jump, but if Carey gets there, Graham's going to have to be there too.
North Melbourne lead by 6 points. Wayne Carey, 2 goals. Danger signs for Geelong. Pickering and Gary Hocking. Craig Scholl and Wayne Schwass. Bit of a wry grin there from Buddha. Umpire will bounce once again, only a matter of 4 or 5 metres away from the centre circle. Longmire, King from behind. The ball spills to the favour of Riccardi. Pickering onto his right foot. Overrun by Burns, gathered by Bell. Hand pass out into the path of Blakey. He made the ball bounce for him successfully. Got the hand pass back to Mickey Martin. Back close to the wing. King got the front posse, which was very, very important. Riccardi to Gary Hocking. Out wide Melbourne. Hasn't he been a bit of a star early in this game? The kick to full forward. Not taken there by Snell. Out by Stoneham. Snell overruns it. A real struggle at the centre-half forward for Geelong. Martin is in trouble just to the right of the screen. You can see him there getting to his feet, maybe favouring an ankle. Play goes on. The kick is to Wayne Schwass, coming from Anthony Stevens. 28 plays 22, 6 points in favour of North Melbourne. We see Mickey Martin there just being attended to by the doctor as Lee Colbert takes a spectacular mark. Shares it with Gary Hocking and Ben Graham, and another thumping kick by Graham. Lands at centre-half forward. Stoneham tries to knock it on. Gathered by Archer, run down by Stoneham. Terrific effort by the Geelong responsible player, Barry Stoneham. Lynch goes short. Has it covered the required distance? Yes, by gee whiz, that didn't look very far. But the mark has been paid to McKinnon. McKinnon, there's a player unmarked. It's Colbert. Well, North Melbourne will be shaking their heads as to how Lee Colbert happened to be in that space right in front of goal, 35 metres out, basically all on his own.
Well, Mark Roberts is his direct opponent now, and Roberts was basically close to the Geelong goal, but he was good 30, 40 metres from Colbert. And really, when Colbert dropped into the centre corridor unmanned, he had 20 metres in each direction, and McKinnon, it was a terrific pass.
Well, it's already been mentioned about an arm wrestle. It might have been Ian Fairley, one of our players, ex-players out there in the crowd that mentioned about an arm wrestle. And it's certainly developing. North Melbourne lead this game by 5 points. Presently, we're early in the second term. Dipper.
Yeah, Rob, I know you guys got a bird's eye view, but the skill level and the pace of this game on ground level is just fantastic. A lot of people have talked about the skill level of this game over the last couple of days, but these two sides have been sensational tonight.
They're hitting their targets, aren't they, Bertie? Some good stuff. Milburn's been excellent. 8 possessions. Hocking back to Melbourne. Probably just a bit too cute. Archer loves it cute. He loves to come across a cute one and then kick it hard. And down towards Carey. He worked Graham beautifully. Will it set? It does. He's playing confidently. Beautifully done. It's fantastic football. And Scholl normally kicks these. Peter McKenna, this will be interesting. Mike Sheehan reckons this is one of the best finishes in the game, but the stats show that he kicks just a bit more than 50% of them.
Yes, he's kicked 36 goals, 31 for the year, Bruce, but he gets a long way out from goal normally. He plays outside 50 a lot, but this shot, 45-degree angle, 45 metres out.
Terrible kick to full forward, and Riccardi runs it over the line. 4 goals, 5 to 3-5. Peter, just one other point. First shot for goal like that, how important and critical is it for a forward to kick it well?
Well, confidence in kicking for goal is everything. Kicking for goal's up in the head. Technique's also important, of course, Bruce, but your confidence lifts if you can get a goal early in the match.
I'll tell you what, he's confident. That Wayne Carey left foot curl inside the shoulder, that was just magnificent skill.
Yes, it's terrific to watch great players in action. Graham to McGrath, back to Graham. Graham again.
Look at that.
Gee, he covers 60 metres. It seems just effortless. Gary Ayres in the box.
Bet you he's churning inside. Doesn't look it from the outside, but I bet you he's churning inside.
Robert Scott with the football for North Melbourne. Kicks towards half-forward. Good mark, Scholl. In front of Mansfield. Pretty hard to get around. He's about 6'3" in the old. Here's Craig Scholl. Once he puts his long arms out in front of his face, it's pretty hard for the defender to punch the ball away. Kicking from 50 metres, once again, gets under it a little bit. It'll land in the square. Barnes gets back and forces a rush behind to North Melbourne.
Yes, it's both sides are really playing almost 2 ruckmen now. They're lining up in the wing, but McKernan v Barnes, and McKernan charged forward to make himself a marking option. That's a great shot. You can just see what the full-back sees. It's not as open as it looks from the elevated position. You've got to look through all those players to find your teammate.
Again to himself. He's been averaging getting it to the centre line when he kicks it. That's a good play. Mansfield now, I'm not sure about that one, but he was good enough, Graham. To McGrath, they get it outside 50. And then a wobbly one by McGrath. Good effort by Lynch. Nice hands. Going to ground was Crocker. Lynch now steadies and kicks to centre half forward to Pickering. Stevens gives a free kick away. It was a very good kick by Lynch. Waited perfectly for Pickering. And now Pickering goes to the pocket. He's got the running Riccardi. Great mark. Under pressure too by Blakey. Riccardi's a good kick, isn't he? He kicked 6 early in the year in a match against West Coast.
And Peter McKenna, you'll see it. You'll be right behind the line of this kick.
Well,
but he's a left footer.
Well, he is on the wrong side of the ground for a left footer, and he has, for the year, kicked 18 goals, 26 behinds. Now, a lot of those are on the run, of course, and this is a set shot, and he is normally a pretty good kick.
We're looking at it from where you are, Peter, at the moment, and he's tried to guide it through. It's coming back. It's a goal. It was an interesting kick, wasn't it? It wasn't like he kicked right through. He sort of guided it through.
Well, it's so often when you can get a camera shot where you follow the line of the ball like we did then, we see that the ball often veers in mid-air. It doesn't always go straight off the boot and off Riccardi's boot. That was a fantastic, the ability just to hold his step, to make sure that Blakey couldn't come back with him, and then just give him that foot or two to mark the ball. Ball started right, but come back left to goal.
So the bounce at the centre, knocked down by Longmire. Kilpatrick left it behind, kicked off the ground by Wayne Schwass. Barnes, just watch the skill level of this guy. Knocks it in front of himself, then tried to knock it to the advantage of Colbert. Probably didn't do as much with the football as I was expecting there, John Barnes.
It's an interesting situation why McKernan would be on the wing and not in the centre bounce doing the ruck work. If he's going to play around midfield, McKernan, you would think he'd play in the ruck.
Crocker off the ground again, being replaced by Chandler. Anthony Stevens, the kick into the pocket. Difficult angle for any forward if he happens to get hold of that. But it was made safe. There's Darren Crocker. Mark Roberts is warming the bench at the moment as well.
And I think Chandler was come on the ground to play on Gary Hockey.
So boundary throw in, 50 metres from the North Melbourne goal. Kilpatrick tried to get it down. North Melbourne really striving hard to keep it in and maybe get a score out of this. Anthony Stevens to Schwass. Schwass settles, delivers to the front of the square. Scholl, one hand, only able to get one hand on it. Ellison, not able to get his foot to it. And a behind conceded by Sean Simpson.
And I think what you find that North Melbourne are going to do, Wayne Schwass has come off hocking onto the wing on Barnes, and they'll use McKernan, I think, in the forward line, which I think is pretty good. didn't see much point in McKernan being out on the wing against Barnes.
The goalpost cam as we come to the wider shot. Graham has been very effective kicking the ball in. He goes short to McGrath. McGrath back to Graham. They've used this so often, and if he belts it now, he'll get it over centre. Look at that. Way up towards half forward. Mark taken by Blakey. I think he wanted to go on. Comes across the ground, squats on his own here, Lee. You were talking about him a moment ago. One bounce, but he's running laterally. Then he goes for goal. He's trying to get a one-out situation for McKernan. McKernan brings it to ground. Good effort by Simpson. Across the face in the end. It looked pretty good off the boot. He's actually kicked the ball out of bounds on the full.
See, I doubt at the moment where John Barnes knows that Wayne Schwash has gone to the wing. Dipper, how do you see it from down there?
Well, both benches are very quiet tonight. We used to see North Melbourne make a lot of changes off the bench. They only made 2 changes, and light rain is starting to fall at the moment.
Well, that's bad luck. I hope it doesn't affect the absolute skills of these players. McKernan's handball. Oh, Carey, that is a goal. That is a goal. Well, that was just fabulous stuff by Wayne Carey. He was dragged to the ground, and as he was going down, he was just able to get his, well, probably the end of his boot onto it.
And John Barnes here, just not really getting himself balanced, kicked it straight into McKernan's hands. And then Carey, well, it may have been luck, but it worked.
Well, you said he'd be churning inside, Gary Ayres. Wayne Carey's kicked 3 tonight, Lee, and 2 of them have probably been a little fortunate. One in at the first quarter when Scott got it to him with a little smother, and then that one. But boy, is he playing a game. What a match it is. Lynch to Pickering. Pickering back to half forward. Burns front spot, should have marked it. King there, well played to Archer. Archer centering ball. Stevens it sits. Good little moment here for North. Stevens to half forward. Carey, well, he is destroying them at the moment.
Bruce, he's back.
Oh, is he ever?
He is back.
Remember the headline in England? They said Donald Bradman, he's out. Well, he's back tomorrow. Carey's kick inside 50. Not good that time. Pickering front spot. Gives it to Colbert. Colbert belts it forward. Milburn's been good. He's confident. Pushes forward. Chandler on the ground. Milburn off the ground. Maybe panicked in the end. Out of play.
Down off the ball. McKernan is now full forward and Colbert full back.
Has the rain become heavier down there, boys?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Pickering for Geelong from half-back. Barnes leaping too early. Ball spills to the back. McKinnon. Go in. Look at the pace of Marty McKinnon. Magnificent goal. Well, that was electrifying stuff from the middle of the ground. McKinnon finishes with the goal, and it is 2 points in favour of the Kangaroos.
Well, he's a great player, Glenn Archer, but he's not a real speedster. Have a look at this. I think Archer was free kick. It was a good advantage. Real Archer looked at the umpire. It was too late then. And gee, you can travel McKinnon when he's on full burst, and he was then. Oh, this is just a sensational game of football.
McKinnon, the goal kicker. Archer, the defender. McKinnon giving the North Melbourne defender something to think about. In the second term here at the MCG, David King kicks North Melbourne forward. Not quite able to get there with Scholl. What's happening? Scholl's going to get a free kick by the look of it. Maybe being held onto when he didn't have the football.
Well, tonight you're going to have to win the game. The opposition aren't going to lose it. These are 2 very, very good teams tonight.
Pete McKenna. Scholl's had a couple of shots for goal. You fancy him here?
Well, I do fancy him. He's normally a pretty straight kick from set shots. He often misses them on the roller. That's very disappointing, Bruce.
Well, it's just proving to be the distance that is troubling Craig Scholl, about 50 metres. It's just offline.
The thing is, Peter McKenna, when you've got to kick the ball 50 metres, it's hard to kick it that far straight regularly.
It certainly is. You go for that extra effort, you sometimes lose your accuracy.
Pete, we're just seeing Archer, who's absolutely incensed with Andrew Coates over that advantage rule given. Have a look at that to Marty McKinnon a moment ago. As we go back to the centre, what a sensational game of football this is. Burns goes to ground, tries to tap it out. Stevens has been busy. Well done by Scott to push forward against Kilpatrick. Stevens wonderfully played. Carey, 50 metres out, sets himself. Look at this. Another one. He's kicked 4 and then gives Melbourne one. I'll own up. There is nobody in the competition I like calling better than that fella right there.
Well, what they've done now is opened up the whole half-forward line. He's in such good touch tonight. He ran to the 15-metre mark. That was a 51-metre kick, and the goal umpire did not move. Oh, he's hot tonight, the king, as you call him, Bruce. He is in great touch.
He's looking rather arrogant too, I would suggest, giving a few mouthfuls to Geelong defenders. Kicked forward by Kilpatrick, gathered by Snell. McKinnon, chance for another goal, hooks the kick across his right shoulder, at the feet of Stoneham. Ball spills back to centre-half forward, taken by Longmire. Martin, handball away to Pike. The umpire's found a free kick. It might be going against Stoneham. And Barry Stoneham, just a little inquiringly look there. Kick out wide to Bell. Bell in the area of Carey, punched away by Graham. Close to the line, he kept his footing, Carey. Well, he just took Ben Graham on then too, and showed Ben Graham that he can kick the ball long distances as well. Puts the Geelong defence under a bit of pressure. Scholl gets back. Scholl close to the line. He's taken to the ground by Craig Scholl. Brad Scholl, Craig Scholl. Now, come on, boys. Mark Nash not having anything to do with that. He's going to get a free kick, Brad Scholl, in the finish. Plays on quickly. Kicks it across the full-back line. McGrath for Geelong.
Gee, I wonder what their parents are saying right now, the two brothers. McGrath comes to centre wing off the side. Gee, Carey has worked in this opening half. McKinnon's pace, Archer at the back, boundary throw-in.
Danny Stevens gets it back to Schwass. Melbourne in the box, going to the rooms to be maybe stitched up. The ball with Chandler for North Melbourne. Chandler's kick. Nearly gets to the square. Spills to the back. Kick off the ground by Riccardi. Now the race is on. Coming down the ground is Barnes. Off the ground. May not have been the right option. Roberts gets it back to Allison. Kick is intercepted. Carey's got it. McGrath. Now Robert Scott off the ground to the front of the square. Has there been a free kick? There has. Back about 30 metres. And it's going to Geelong to be taken by Liam Pickering. 9 points the margin. We do know that Melbourne has gone to the rooms. It looks as though he may have required a couple of stitches. We'll have another look at what happened to Darren Milburn here. Bang. May have been a knee of Johnny Longmire that he ran into, and a cut maybe over his left eye. John Barnes with the football.
Back pocket, kicks to half-back. Didn't get to Steinfort. Boundary throw-in. Centre wing. So that arm wrestle that Flossie talked about goes on. Free kick here going back to the Cats. Hocking's kick doesn't count. And Geelong's free kick, it'll come back. Well, look at Paul getting involved with Chandler. Andrew Coates keeping some control here.
You've got to be a little bit careful doing that, don't you, Lee? I mean, if you've got the ball, there's a risk it can be turned over.
Yeah, I think you often say they can hit you at an axe if you're in front, and Gary Hocking, well, maybe there wasn't much in it, but the umpire could have seen it differently and could have reversed the free kick. You've got to be so careful when you're in possession. Don't give the umpire an excuse to reverse it.
What's hitting below the belt in AFL footy? That's getting pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the way I saw it, Bruce. And Gary Hocking, a responsible player, just before half-time, his team is trailing by 9 points. They badly need to get just a little bit of flow. There's just nothing happening out there on that outer wing. This bloke they need to get into the game. Ronnie Burns, and the mark is taken. No, it may have been intercepted along the line of flight. And Steinfort takes it for a boundary throw-in. Mickey Martin. Roberts and Barnes to contest the boundary throw-in. It's nearly up to the 50-metre line. You can see that there in the background. Schwass into the middle. Carey just bounces off. Handball away. By gee, the football's pretty hot. McKernan from outside 50 has missed to the right. McKernan has only had 4 kicks. Wayne Schwass came into this game with a little bit of a question mark beside his name. His right knee very heavily strapped, so we'll watch that with a bit of interest in the 3.5 minutes left to half-time, and certainly after the long break.
Scholl's got it. Bradshaw in the back pocket. They've normally been giving it back to Graham, not this time. The ball a little wet too, so they've got to be very careful. Pickering kicks it to Colbert, needs the bounce, he got it, then takes on Longmire, good play, and then delivers. Nice kick to Barnes. He's got a Big John, he wanted to play on, I think. Handball inside, only 50-50. Stifle, well done. Push forward. Swash waits, got bowled over. No free kick against Kilpatrick. The Cats were hard at it there. Holding them up, Archer. He's a hard man to get the footy off. And it'll be a bounce.
Well, he's been a rejuvenated midfielder. Have a look at this. This is Swash a bit earlier in the game. Just dragged the leg down awkwardly. A bit sore, but he's up and running after that. Cats
inside 50. Taken by Mark Roberts off the side of the boot. I'll get to you in a moment, Dipper. In fact, I'll get to you right now.
Yeah, Bruce is... Robbo did mention that Wayne Swash has got his knee strapped up. There's 5 other North Melbourne players also with their knees strapped up, so keep an eye on that one.
Longmire doing a pretty good job against King. Time remaining down at the bottom left-hand corner of the picture. Lynch goes forward. In front there was Houlihan. He couldn't take the mark. McKinnon kicked away by David King. Close to the line. It's been marked by Anthony Stevens.
16 minutes into the quarter, the last goal. McKinnon, so nearly about 12 minutes, Robbo, since the Geelong goal. So Stevens has been good, hasn't he? 8 and 4 so far, and make it 9 and 4, 13 possessions to half-time. He measures a kick. We look at Gary Ayres in the box. Oh, good mark by Riccardi. Not paid, was it? Mansfield away. Little kick in towards McKinnon. Archer. Is that a free kick to McKinnon anyway? Archer's incensed at the moment. He's really fired up. McKinnon back to Burns. Here's a chance. Burns on. McGrath. McGrath 60 metres out. Goes short. Gets his man. Finds Houlihan. Back on the ground after going off early. There's a Steinford and Schwass. Pete McKenna, you're in a great spot here. Houlihan from about 45.
Well, it's a little bit breezy, but Houlihan is a great kick for goal, Bruce. He's a very promising young player, and they badly need it. The player they're missing up here on the forward line is Derek Hall. He takes a lot of marks, and they're certainly missing his drive because he holds the ball in the forward line a lot.
Well, this to close it right up, Mac. He's 45 metres out from the pocket. He's hooked it. Peter, what about just a little slippery ball at this stage? Does it make much of a difference to a forward kicking for goal?
It certainly does, Bruce, and you have to really guide it with your right hand, or if you're a left footer, with your left hand. It's most important you don't drop it from a height, and that was a very disappointing kick. Probably the one skill over the years, kicking for goal, Bruce, that hasn't improved with the times.
Just saw Schwass a moment ago with Steinford. We're inside the last minute in the opening half. 5-6 to 6-9. Out to half-back. King, good effort in the front spot. The Cats haven't got a lot of time. Remember in the first quarter, the Roberts kicked a point right on the siren. This one inboard to Pickering. And Pickering's got the mark, and the siren sounds. Well, Couchy, has he got any hope at all from here?
Oh, the ball's a bit heavy and a bit slippery, Bruce. It's a pretty hard kick from 55. He'll give it his best chance, but I doubt it.
It's not a bad effort, is it? But just
it's a good effort.
Well, at half-time, what a great game it's been. It's Geelong 5-6, North 6-9. Second half about to start. What a cracking match this has been. 5-6 to 6-9. Geelong looking to go to the prelim final. That's where you win the grand finals from. North just hoping to stay alive. They won the championship last year. Out to centre wing, Steinford, who may have had his number taken in the first half. Not certain about that. King back to Steinford. Pickering around the body to half forward. McKernan's dropped back there. Could be a very big player in the second half. Thought he started to run into form late in the first half. He's a colossus at times, isn't he? A towering figure in the game.
Has a big impact for North Melbourne.
Kicks the ball back to the centre of the ground. North the direct way. Through Riccardi's fingers. Handball out. It's going to be a different sort of a game from the first half. There'll be a lot of that. Trying to toe poke them off the ground and kick them off the ground. Scholl goes off the ground and gets the ball forward. Blakey, who can keep their feet. McKinnon goes to ground. It's slippery. Throws it out. Back to Bradshaw. Clever little kick to Hocking. Lovely handball. But McKinnon's caught with a terrific tackle. Blakey goes to ground. Looks for a free kick. Not coming. Back to McKinnon. Well done. Houlihan in the pocket. Check side. Ambitious. Gee. It would have been a miracle goal in these conditions. Couchy, completely different setup now in the second half. Have a look at Juicer.
This is Boggy Creek weather, boys. Look, you just got to keep it simple now. Just get the ball on quickly, get in front, and just that's all you got to do. Keep it simple. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Back to Kilpatrick. And back to Mickey Martin. Ian Fairley.
Where's Bruce?
I don't think we've found Ian Fairley.
He's out there underneath the raincoat.
Ian, how are you going out there? What do you think about North and the wet?
Well, I really think the wet's going to suit our the way we play very well, Bruce. We're hard at the ball, we'll surge the ball forward, and I think it might cut a bit of Geelong's finesse out of the game.
The umpires seem to have refrained from, well, going for any of the technical free kicks. I know the quarter's only a couple of minutes old, but certainly they've got to give the favour to the players now and give them every possible chance to gather and do something with the football. It's going to be very, very difficult, these conditions that are prevailing now. Pickering and Gary Hocking combining, but gathered well by Archer from centre wing. He kicks North Melbourne into their forward half. Good mark. Close to the ground. He controlled it well, did the captain. And Carey has the football. He's about 60 metres from goal. Swings around and kicks it with a lot of penetration to the goal square. Nearly taken there by Danny Stevens, but it's forced over by the Geelong defence for a rush behind to the Kangaroos.
And one thing about Carey, he's often a good wet weather mark because he tends to mark on his chest. Doesn't mark with outstretched arms. Fairly uses his body and hugs the ball in tight. That was a good example.
Well, the percentages here by Ben Graham would be to bang it as far as you can, and that's exactly what he's done. He's pinpointed Barry Stoneham from about 55, 60 metres near the middle of the ground. Stoneham kicks it further, but not able to gather. It's knocked forward now. On the end of it is Houlihan. He couldn't control it. Pike gets it back. Kicked away by David King to Carey, and Carey is marked at left half back. Barry Stoneham, it was his first kick, had a couple of hand passes. Kilpatrick has an anxious. Gary Ayres looks on, and a good mark, but Houlihan, but there's been a shepherding incident as Houlihan marked the ball.
And we saw the anger in Gary Ayres then. He was trying to protect his teammate Michael Mansfield, but just gave Pike a shove. Umpire saw it, free kick, lost opportunity.
Gee, Archers must miss one too, and then legs Hocking, and he's in trouble, Hocking. 50 metres, he's going to come back.
I don't think he might be reported.
Not sure. I think it's just 50 metres.
I think he's been certainly either a kick or something of that nature, and there's a 50-metre penalty, but yes, certainly the notebook is coming out, so it would appear a tripping or kicking report. Call it what you like.
Gee, Glenn Archer, that's going to be interesting. 50 metres and a report there. So Hocking to kick the goal. He's got it. What a sensational start to the second half, with Glenn Archer being reported for kicking Gary Hocking.
Well, worse than that, I suppose, in the context of tonight's game. Goals are going to be so hard to score. Hocking was going to, contest the ball 60 metres from goal, and you end up with a shot from 10 metres out and a six-pointer. So very, very costly error by Glenn Archer.
So Gary Hocking gets the Geelong team's sixth goal. Early in the third quarter, it is a 4-point margin. King, well done. Down to Pickering. Pickering to half forward. Contest there provided by Steinfort. Riccardi over the football. Archer, good tackle Steinfort. Kicked away by Chandler for the Kangaroos. It gets close to half forward. Kicked away by Carey. Gives away meterage, but gathered by Bell. Bell hooks it across his left shoulder, up to half forward. Now it's Colbert for the Cats. Measures the kick. He was aiming there for Sanderson. He was paid the free kick. Played on quickly. Kicks to half forward. It spills to the back. Riccardi. Can he get his foot to it? He gathers. Dragged off the football by Blakey. Rebounds back to Archer. Strong across that half-back line. McKernan kicks it back towards the middle. It sits nicely for Pickering. Kilpatrick. Back he goes to Simpson.
Simpson very wide, extremely wide. Barnes gathers, tackled by McKernan, didn't have the football. Must take the free kick, John Barnes. 4 points in favour of North Melbourne. The ball is at right half forward for Geelong.
Stevens off, Rock comes on. That's Danny Stevens. Anthony Rock on for North Melbourne. Archer hard at it. Stevens, Anthony, McKernan, Kilpatrick boundary throw in. Some brave efforts here, left, right and centre, aren't they? Melbourne there, is he, with the cut. Went down in the rooms and got some stitches. Martin, back to Colbert, working hard. King, then Pickering to full forward. Barnes, McKernan, they may have to concede. King does. Back to 3 points, 43 to 46. Scores will level as we look at the North bench. Stevens, Crocker in the middle, Roberts. Scores will level at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. North has been in front since then. So the Cats are closing. It's 6-10 to 6-7 as King brings it back in for North.
Back towards the middle of the ground. At the back is Anthony Rock. He gathers it. Kicks a wobbly old punt kick up to the full forward area. Oh, brilliant play, but Carey's dragged down by Graham. All clear, says the umpire. McGrath onto his left foot. Close to the line, it bundles over for a throw-in. And it would be about 2.5 kicks from North Melbourne's goal. The Kangaroos clinging to an advantage of 3 behinds. We watched the tackle from Ben Graham, and it wasn't bad. From behind, not giving away the free kick, is good play. Good, skillful play in these tough conditions. Pickering off the ground, hacks it into the middle. Gathered there by Steinfort. Back to Kilpatrick. Kilpatrick, well done. Colbert assesses. Kicks to the half-forward area. Nearly the mark to Snell. He's going to get run down by Archer. Well done, Archer. Gathers. Hand passes back to Blakey. Blakey just running outside his defensive 50. Kicks it towards the wing. At the back, Graham and Carey. Graham quite content to take it over. Carey looking for maybe a free kick. Nothing happening. Couchy and Ian Fairley, you boys really have to be hard-nosed to withstand all of this rain. Terrible now, Couchy.
It's terrible. Look, Pickering and Hocking have got the boys back in this game here. They've been sensational, especially Buddha Hocking. Tough in the clinches.
No doubt about that, Paul, and you would know them better than anybody. Freeborn goes back to Bell. Bell kicks it inside 50. Stoneham was at the back. Scholl and Schwass. Scholl happy to see it over the line. Lee, I just keep thinking every goal, so vital.
Well, they're going to happen by a bit of luck more than good management. You're not going to be able to set them up from defence. Interesting down there, Stoneham is picking up Simpson, a much smaller player. A dangerous match-up when the ball is going to be on the ground up there.
Carey, Graham, back to Rock, little left footer, cut off by Graham, who has played very well, despite the fact Carey was arguably the best man on the ground in the first half. Out wide, Stevens has had a good match, likes the old trusty left, he goes to it now, good kick. Well done, Bell's been good too. This will be his 11th kick, Bell. Kicks it from about 80 or 90 metres out inside. Carey, it was a hard bounce, well taken. He's in a bit of touch tonight, takes Graham on, he's in trouble. They've got him, they'll see that as a victory, Geelong. Taken by Colbert, he went for the boundary line and found it, and it's a boundary throw in. 6 goals 7 to 6 goals 10. Now Ben Graham just wincing a bit. He's got a sore one for the moment. He's going to have to run that out. 16 handballs to 9 for Geelong in this third quarter. It'll be a lot of kicks off the ground. Sanderson, who sat on the interchange early. Bell's been very good as we see Ben Graham in the box. Like Peter Bell's game so far.
Well, it's going to be critical that Ben Graham recovers his position quickly, because the man he's marking, Wayne Carey, presently would be just enjoying a free rein. Barry Stoneham, hard at the football, handball over the top, Pickering. Good pressure provided by Stevens. That's Anthony Stevens for the Kangaroos. And we'll see a boundary throw in left half forward for North Melbourne. They lead by 3 points. Pickering, magnificent possessions. We'll watch now at Ben Graham. What do you think there, Lee? Obviously a knee, maybe, buckling underneath. I don't know about that. Might have just got a knock on the leg muscle by the sternum, but he looks like he's okay now. He's up and running and on Carey. Simpson able to just hack a little left footer out of there. McKinnon, good pressure. Kilpatrick, Anthony Rock, Sanderson and Anthony Stevens. It is extremely difficult to get the ball cleanly away from a congested area and kick it with precision down to the forward line. It is just going to be a real struggle by both of these sides. North Melbourne have the advantage
albeit just 3 behinds. Schwass. 46 plays 43. We've got 10 minutes left in this third quarter.
It's a test of wills at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very much so, Bruce.
Just how much do you want it? The incentive is huge for both teams. They've had some great clashes over the last few years. Free kick to Rock. It's coming back at centre wing. Just forward to centre wing, so if he can get onto one, he'll kick it within scoring distance. Every forward thrust now has got an edge to it. Goes to full forward, Hocking free kick. Chandler did slip, but you can't give them away. So Buddha's had 2 important free kicks at either end of the ground. Sanderson measures the kick out wide, cutting it off Rock, belts it away. McKernan and Scholl. Scholl pushes forward to Barnes. Barnes pushes forward. Geelong get it out of the danger area. Archer Schwass off the ground. Out of play. Boundary throw in. Good defensive play by Schwass. There was no other option.
Yes, Wayne Schwass, a leader in this North Melbourne lineup now. Very experienced player. They lead the game by 3 points to the Kangaroos. 9 minutes left in the third term. They're going to be really tired, you would think, in the last few minutes. So whoever can get an advantage leading into the last 10 minutes of the game, you'd reckon they'd probably be able to hold on. At this stage, it is with the Kangaroos. Riccardi sees the football over for a boundary throw-in. It's just getting a little closer now to Geelong's goal. Still about in excess of 1 kick from their goal, but they're forcing it forward. King up against Longmire again. Underneath there is Colbert. Knocks it from between his legs. Kilpatrick into the pocket. Nearly gathered by Burns, but King has just made it extremely difficult for Ronnie Burns all night.
Yeah, he's had an ordinary night, Ronnie Burns, at this point. This is where it's so important that he perseveres, because 1 or 2 key touches from Burns, that may be the difference.
And see the time remaining in the third term. Chandler's kick has been smothered off the boot, but Archer's there to help him out. Kicks it back towards the wing. Punched away there by Sanderson. Gathered by Milburn. The kick went out on the full off his opponent.
Off Blakey, yep.
Incredible scenes there. You can
Cannon, was it?
Well, it was. It was amazing, wasn't it? And you can see the boy's left eye very heavily taped up.
And not much of his left eye to look out of by the look of it there.
Bad knock he got in the second turn. Snell gathered by Riccardi. Back onto his favoured left foot. Peter Riccardi over his right shoulder to the goal square. David King down in front. Chandler, Bell, still Chandler. Tackled by Steinfort. Still Chandler goes after Riccardi. And the umpire will bounce 50 metres from Geelong's goal. North Melbourne have added 1 behind in this third term. And the Cats have kicked 1-1. Kicked out of there by Anthony Stevens. Back out towards the wing. Kilpatrick tried to the advantage of Graham, but just knocked it a little bit too far for Ben Graham. And that boundary umpire will have to throw it in once again.
Good crowd here. They're enjoying a great contest. Nothing in this match at all. Mickey Martin. Little give to Stevens. Caught up. Off the ground. Pushes the ball forward. Into the centre. Taken by Craigshaw. Good pick-up, actually. And then around the body to centre half forward. Stoneham. Taken by Carey. Left foot. Along the ground. What a player. 5 goals. He, right now, is the difference between the 2 teams. 5 goals on a night like tonight.
Yes, 5 goals out of 7. It's a big effort. And as we've mentioned all night, Graham hasn't played that badly. But this was just the opportunist goal. The ball came off the pack. He got to the right position and good enough skills to bounce the ball through. But, yeah, 5 goals out of the team 7. It's a heavy load.
Big goal, wasn't it?
A very smart kick by Wayne Carey's 5th goal gives North the 9-point advantage that they enjoy right at the moment. Stoneham playing on Wayne Carey, we believe. Milburn has kicked it out on the full. Playing on quickly is Blakey. Gets it down close to the 50-metre line. Punched away from Carey by Stoneham. Scholl, handball, Gary Hocking. In turn to Ben Graham. Graham across the half-back line. Really kicked it to the advantage here of 2 of his teammates, Barnes and McGrath. Barnes provided the shepherd. but able to get past it was Craig Scholl. McGrath in towards full forward, good kick. Mark is taken by Houlihan. They must get a goal here, the Cats. Houlihan hesitates and then kicks into the pocket. Out in front, good mark. Great mark to Melbourne. When the ball has been difficult to handle, a mark basically overhead was very well done.
Yes, he just kept his eyes on the ball. He's only got about one he can see out of, I suspect. But really, very good, strong hands. Had the elbows bent, which just gives you extra strength in your hands above your face or in front of your face. It was a terrific, and 8 stitches in his eye, apparently. So it's a big bit of tape and a great lot of courage that he's shown to come back and take this mark.
He's kicked 1 goal. This kick will not score. Not at the moment, anyway. Steinfort hooks the kick to the front of the goal square. Real contest now. Snell, Houlihan. Underneath that is Robert Scott. If you can identify him, eventually he will come up with the footy. Right in front of Geelong's goal. North Melbourne lead by 9 points. Carey has kicked 5 goals. Brett Ellison has kicked 2. They are the only 2 goal kickers at this stage. Mansfield still got the footy. Still got the footy. He has to be penalised.
Yes, he tried to evade a fair few tackles. He probably evaded about 4 of them, but the 5th one, eventually the umpire said, that's enough, Mickey. Have a look at this, trying to get through. Ball went to ground, start again. A bit unlucky, did his best.
Did it right, didn't he, Lee? But the other thing to show was North Melbourne's desperation.
Yeah, they weren't going to let him through.
Had 5 players around him. King kicks the ball out past 50. Stoneham and Carey belting the ball out of play. Peter McKenna, what's it like for a forward on a night like tonight right now?
Well, this is a typical backman's weather, this, Bruce. They'd be loving it, the backman. Difficult for forwards. You can't approach the ball with confidence, but these players are so highly skilled. You can see what Carey can do under pressure, and the good players come to the front.
Trying to get it out, Blakey, to Bell. Bell conceding an inch and no more, and it'll be another ball up. About 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Ronnie Burns on the bench. He'll be disappointed. Marty McKinnon with him, 2 of their goal kickers this year. Maybe they'll get a chance. I'm sure Burns will get another one in the last quarter. Mansfield getting it out. Forward, Stevens. Hocking, Stevens towards the line. And out of play. About 45 metres away from Geelong's goal. Lee, how important a late goal for the Cats here? They're a kick and a half behind.
Well, it's it's a 9-point lead, but seems like a 10-goal one because goals are just so hard to score. Ronnie Burns was very quiet early in their match earlier in the year, then had a terrific third quarter. Let's see if he can make a breather on the bench and then come on and do something.
Did the same thing against Sydney last week, didn't he? With a late charge. Again, players all over the ball. King's high ball, back to full forward. Cats have got some numbers. Important here. Point goes off the ground, belts it out. The race is on.
It certainly was a very effective kick off the ground there by Martin Pike. Well done by Robert Scott. Duck back. Gary Ayres with concerns in the box. But a good mark taken by McGrath for Geelong on centre wing. Handled the ball well. Kicks in short to Colbert. Maybe abating is the rain now. It was very heavy at half-time and for most of this third quarter. Colbert goes short. It's going to be effective. The mark taken by Sanderson. He's still outside 50. Looking to go short once again. Kicks across the half-forward line. Snell leading. Pike too strong. Martin prepared to take it over for a boundary throw-in. And you will see dour defenders just prepared to put their bodies on the line to chop off any forward thrust. Dennis Pagan just keeps that phone to his ear nearly for the whole game. Hacked out of there by Bell. Melbourne goes back. Nothing much he can do with the footy. Anthony Stevens applying the pressure. And Darren Melbourne with a bit of a grin on his face. David Howlett just gives him a couple of words of acknowledgement, but the ball will be thrown in about 75 to 80 metres around from the Geelong goal. Longmire and King again. Kilpatrick tries to kick it forward for the Cats. It will be eventually by Pickering.
Gets it inside 50. Bell's got it. Didn't take the mark. Belted off at them by Mansfield. Good tackle, Mansfield on Pike. They want a free kick. It'll be a boundary throw-in. Mansfield basically playing in the goal square now on Pike in a one-out situation. Well, the Cats have had it here for so long, they've got to get something out of it, you think. They need something here. Longmire and King, free kick to Longmire. Just little soft ones are going to help North here. It's a second free kick Longmire's had from a ruck situation in this quarter. It was
Longmire lost his balance, so he basically tucked his head under King's arms, and he's got a high free kick for a high tackle.
Carey indiscriminately tried to belt the ball there with his boot, tried to kick it forward, and it'll be another throw up.
It's all about using the space now and the slippery ground to get distance by really just kicking the ball to space at the goals. Don't try and kick it to a looting teammate. Kick it at the goals and see if someone can run onto the sliding ball.
Lee Colbert doing up his boot. David Howlett throws it up. King with a height advantage. Pickering got his hands on. He's had 18 kicks, Pickering. Colbert underneath it all. Steinfort, they worked it out. The Cats again. Again, they get it inside 50. North with some numbers. Archer and Bell, they run it to the line. How many times do you reckon they've thrown the ball in this position in this quarter? Half a dozen, maybe more. Here's a boundary throw-in.
Peter Bell with 15 possessions has been a hard worker for the Kangaroos. King and Longmire. King gets a fist to it. Kilpatrick tried to kick it forward. Chopped off there by Anthony Rock. And an excellent mark taken out there by Melbourne. And eventually gave it up to Scott. Well, that was what you were talking about. Maybe looking for a little bit too much skill.
Yeah, you've got to try and play the distance, play the percentages.
Mark Pate to Scholl in the middle of the ground. Very muddy. Head pass to Blakey. Blakey down the ground. Carey. Very, very efficient. Peter McKenna.
Well, he's a champion, Robbo, and he'll kick with a slippery ball from outside 50. It's a very difficult kick. There's a swirling breeze, but Wayne Carey is a very, very long kick. What a great chest mark under pressure.
Wasn't it, Peter? It was a quality
It was
play,
a quality mark by a champion, Bruce.
We can see he's taken 8 marks. I would say 6 or 7 have been contested chest marks.
Yep, and he is a beautiful kick, and I would not put it past him to kick this one. There's a free kick down in front of goal here.
Well, this is absolutely incredible. I don't think Carey, he was about a 30% chance to kick that goal. Now it's an absolute blinder, certainly.
Yes, played ahead of the play. Obviously, Ben Graham has been pinged for holding on to Crocker, Darren Crocker on the lead. The third umpire saw it.
Hasn't touched it yet, Crocker. This is his first touch.
And he's going to kick a very, very important goal in this game. He becomes North Melbourne's third goal kicker. The captain has kicked 5. Allison on the bench at the moment has kicked 2. And Darren Crocker kicks his first goal.
Well, it was like the Gary Hocking goal, a 50-metre penalty that Hockey goaled from. Even though Carey had a set shot, he was going to be kicking from 50. But when you get a free kick 15 metres out, it must have been there. The umpire paid it, but things are flowing with North Melbourne.
Well, what a dramatic play that was. Crocker's first touch, a free kick down the ground and got the goal. So North have got a very big break in the conditions. 15 points. McKernan gets it. Carey again involved. McKernan lets loose. Long ball. Swash not bad. Scholl important at the front of the pack. Good give to Stevens. Couldn't quite hold it. Boundary throw-in. I reckon, Couchy, if North get one here, you guys are in real trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, Bruce, to get back, especially the conditions we're playing in. All you've got to do is get yardage in these games. Just get yardage and be in front. That's all you ask for. And not go wide into the forward line. Keep it in the corridor. It's the only way to go.
Out of play again. So
it's so hard to get from one end to the other, and that Milbourne mistake, maybe a couple of minutes ago, really, I mean, the ball went back to the centre, but you make a mistake that turns the ball over into the open field, that is the way goals are going to be scored against you.
King and Longmire. Graham back to Longmire. Couldn't get a handle on it. Chandler, little kick round the body. McGrath and Scholl. Crocker came hard at it. Little one off the ground at the back by Bradshaw. Good give by Stoneham. That was clever. Out of defence here comes Milburn to centre wing. Mickey Martin playing the percentages. Gets rid of Steinfort. Gets over the footy. Belts it back inside 50 does Mickey. A high ball. Who he's going to go. Colbert goes to ground, off the ground by Danny Stevens. Chandler running, so is Scholl. Chandler goes over the top. Scholl kicks it. It's desperation stakes. Oh, good stuff all round.
That was the Chandler desperation. He just was able to dive on the ball. Have a look at Chandler here. To race, just dives, just smothers the kick off the ground. So the ball stays in North's forward line. That's the kind of desperation that wins games.
Very deep. In fact, the siren has sounded. Well, North won the quarter, didn't they, in the end? I thought the Cats were going to take the lead halfway through the term, but the Kangaroos are 15 points in front. Three-quarter time, it's 6-7 to 8-10. Kilpatrick got a hand on it through the centre. An early goal would be really handy for Geelong. If North get it, it's going to be really tough. Blakey's kick, McKernan, he's on Barnes again, Lee at centre wing. I know you've been interested in how they've played him. That's wonderful play, McKernan. Belts it back to 50. Good fly by Simpson. Going to ground, Crocker. Rock pushes forward. They've got nobody back for the moment, but a good tackle coming forward then. Geelong in trouble over the top of the footy. North onto them quickly, want a free kick. It'll be a bounce. Good play by Danny Stevens here for the Kangaroos. Right up forward here, 25 metres out. Carey, front spot, tried to fancy one out of the air. It ricochets away from Kilpatrick, comes back out. Pickering tries off the ground. Stevens keeps his nut down low, off the side. It's been marked by Danny Stevens. Peter McKenna, you're sitting in the Great Southern Stand. This kid has got 5 goals in his career. It's his first final. How big a kick is this?
Well, this is a huge kick for a young player in a final. It was only an indiscriminate, quick kick there by Stevens, and young Danny Stevens has taken the mark. A huge kick. It'll almost be goodbye to Geelong if he kicks this one, Bruce.
Where should he aim, Peter? Where should he aim?
Well, I think it'll be a little bit to the right-hand goalpost. It's a swirly breeze here, as usual, at the MCG. And judging by the earlier kicks, it has to be right. He's kicked left.
And missed it.
But it was as Paul Couch said earlier, quick kicks out of the pack, play in front. That's all you can do. You can't set it up. You just got to make distance, get it forward. North did both.
So 16 points is a big margin now, isn't it? When clean possession of the football is extremely difficult. Graham goes straight down the ground. Geelong will gather. Kick forward by Sanderson, but only as far as Robert Scott. Scott for North Melbourne. Kicks it high. Contest, no mark. Anthony Stevens to Simpson. Simpson off the ground. Rock nearly on the end of it. Taps it out wide. Kick off the ground again by Danny Stevens. Gathered by Kilpatrick. And a free kick has been picked out of that little congested area in the right forward pocket for North Melbourne. It's going to Geelong. Ronnie Burns prepares to come back onto the ground, and we believe Steinfort is off the ground. So Kilpatrick for Geelong kicks it temporarily out of the danger area. King quickly onto his right boot. Scholl and McGrath. Colbert, number 2. Schwass for North Melbourne. Anthony Rock quickly onto his right boot. Oh, nearly got on the end of it there, Adam Simpson. Simpson's left foot snap's going to be marked by Carey. Well, this will be just about the end for Geelong, you would think. I know there's plenty of time left, but if Carey kicks his 6th goal, which would just about cap off a BOG performance, you would think that the margin then would be a safe one for North Melbourne.
Terribly important kick from Simpson. He's done his job to prevent Scholl running out of defence for Geelong. But the left foot kick, Carey read it. Another chest mark. 7 or 8 of them the chance to kick a match-winning 6th goal.
Well, he certainly has had determination written all over his face tonight, right from the start of the game when he had an impact early. We look at the angle, confronting the captain, magnificent kick. Great kick in the conditions. 6 goals to Wayne Carey. And the North fans are delirious.
Well, it's been gradually coming over the weeks, Wayne Carey, after that shoulder operation. Each week he seemed to be getting marginally better. And tonight he's just been back to the Carey of old. It was just the situation of getting in the right spot, getting under the ball, and he's just a beautiful kick for goal. Hardly looked like missing tonight.
Kicked the last 3 goals of the match, North. Well, it's exciting, but for some, it's a late night. Carey, what a game. 6 goals in such a low-scoring match. And now the Cats have got it all to do. They came from 6 goals behind North Melbourne in round 15 on a very different night to this one, I know. Howlett, Coates, Nash, David Andrew marked the umpires. They've really had to umpire 2 halves. Conditions so different. North growing in confidence at the moment. The Cats have got to pinch one from nowhere just to give them some incentive to get their crowd back involved. Snell's high ball. Colbert, free kick to Squash. Look at Dennis Pagan. He's working at overtime. He must be smelling September again, Lee, I think, for the moment.
Well, yes, there's been some good signs tonight. That infringement against Wayne Schwass was shown on the big scoreboard. Geelong fans obviously not too happy with the decision, but there's nothing much you can do about it. They must keep forcing the ball forward. Melbourne has the ball. 8 stitches above on a cut above his left eye. The kick towards full forward. Chandler gives away meterage. Anthony Stevens close to the line. King for North Melbourne. Looked to me as though it was big Stephen King that might have come off the ground for Geelong. Replaced by McKinnon. That's Bell in a bit of trouble there. Just trying to get an extra running player. McKinnon's come on. Really, if they're not going to mark the ball in the midfield, they just got to see if they can get someone clear to conjure up a goal.
So who does the ruck work then? Does Barnes have to get into the fray
I think
now?
it's a matter of whoever's there.
Whoever's there, OK. Archer comes clear for North Melbourne. Kicks to half forward. Stoneham knocks it to the front. Gathered by Craig Scholl. Kick towards full forward. Punched away from Darren Crocker by Graham. Now a chance there for Simpson. He wasn't able to really control the footy. We've spoken about how difficult it is. Archer hacks it out of there. It might have been out on the full, was it? No. Must have just bounced inside the boundary line. And it'll be a throw-in just forward of centre wing. Gary Ayres pensive as usual.
Must be churning up inside now because it's almost impossible to see the Cats getting back. They're going to have to kick 4 goals from here to win, and that's without North getting another one. And they've only managed 1 goal since half-time. A Hockings goal coming early, 4 minutes into the second half. McKernan there on screen. Is that a throw? No. Taken by Pickering. What a match he's had. Back to half forward for Geelong. They must score when they go forward. Just about every time, I reckon, in the next couple of minutes. They've just got to get a goal from somewhere. Bell there with Snell. 19 kicks for Pickering, number 23. This is just a moment ago with Simpson and Pickering.
It's a good interception, wasn't it? Quick hands.
It's a fantastic player. He always plays well against his old club too, North Melbourne. What a talented sportsman he is. There's Couchy there in the background a moment ago. We see Scholl getting ready. Simpson's done the job on him tonight, hasn't he? Scholl just 4 kicks. We saw him last week in Sydney just knock up getting kicks. Lee, there's Long Night.
Yes, Johnny Barnes being knocked out of the way quite simply, really, for a ruck contest from the boundary throw-in. And North Melbourne force it. Looks as though he might be favouring his arm there. That was the arm that was very badly broken earlier in the season. And he's just allowing it to hang rather limply. We'll watch as he contests this. Gets his left hand to it, so not a problem. Blakey to David King. Straightens up and then kicks towards half forward. At the back, Stoneham under pressure. Not able to be run down there by Allison. Little left foot kicks all right. Gary Hocking has taken the mark. Kicks it back to where it came from. Straight to Carey. Oh, look out, he played on, didn't he? No, he didn't, said the umpire. Steinfort the marker. And Carey with the footy. Kicks it to his fellow big man in McKernan, but the umpire has decided that maybe Wayne Carey had drifted off the mark to the right. He must come back and kick it over the man on the mark. Yes, it was just a poor disposal there by Gary Hocking. I don't think he probably saw, well, I'm certain he didn't see Carey because he basically kicked the ball straight at him.
Great statistics by Wayne Carey, an absolute champion in this modern AFL game. 6 goals. You wouldn't think he could make it 7, but he's having a bit of a crack at it. Going for the torpedo punt kick by the look of it. And he's given it a bit of a roost too. Off to the right, marked down there by Scott. Gee, he'd love this, wouldn't he? Putting a little nail in the Geelong coffin. Robert Scott, he played a lot of his football at Caninia Park.
And kept Riccardi to only 7 possessions, so he's done his job tonight again. Put a lot of big-name players out of business as Robert Scott in the last year or two.
Giving away meterage. Didn't really work. Knocked back to Chandler. Gets some space, straightens up from 45. Goes for goal! Pretty close. Just missed. Brett Chandler's first score. Dennis Pagan continues with the telephone messages down to the bench.
Ben Graham, he'll have to bring it back. Lee, Terry Wallace will be loving all this. The Bulldogs go to the prelim final if Geelong's beaten tonight.
Yes, I think they can start thinking about their next fortnight's preparation, because it's a long way back from here for Geelong.
Jim Martino will have to wait another week.
And Jose Romero would be reasonably satisfied with the situation too.
I mean, the Cats aren't gone yet, but they do need a goal in the next minute or two. You'd think they need to do something quickly. Hocking gets hold of it at half back. Little kick to centre wing. They're building it up. Riccardi. They're pushing players forward. Riccardi short. To Barnes. Missed it. Carey. What a match. Bangs it back. Scholl getting underneath it. This could be the last one. Scholl's normally good in the pocket. Look at the kick, just misses. Well, if they haven't finished them, they're getting close. 9-13, 6-7.
But just the style you need. What Carey did, he intercepted the ball at midfield and just kicked it at the goals. Don't worry about trying to set it up. Just get distance.
Gee, the kick in by Graham was dropped by Steinford. He's able to get his situation back. Gives the handball away to McKinnon. Goes to McGrath. Overhandling of the ball. They've got to make a mistake. Simpson off the ground. Sanderson close to the line. Still a real struggle. They've had about 8 possessions, and they've just got the ball out of their defensive 50, and their fans' ironical cheers because Tim McGrath put it onto his boot. Got the ball up to their forward 50. Houlihan, tackle, desperate stuff, magnificent stuff there by Schwartz. Simpson taps it for a clearance.
Dipper down on the boundary. You there, Dipper?
Bruce, yes, Bruce. If the viewers at home thinking Geelong given up, they haven't. It's just the relentless pressure from North Melbourne. They're just fantastic tonight.
Gee, the Cats there had 4 players inside at centre-half forward, all on their own. No markers at all. If only they'd been able to get the ball over the top. Bell gets it back. Off the ground by King. Towards the line. Not going to go out, but Scott helps it. And a boundary throw-in. 6-7, 9-13. It's been about 40 minutes of football since Geelong scored a goal. There's the interchange for North. They must be thinking now, well, we're still alive. 1 down and 3 more to go. We could still do it. Little on off the ground. Pickering, what a good player he is. He keeps Geelong alive. He is playing some sort of a match, and that is just what the Cats had to do.
Well, he's getting a lot of the ball midfield, Pickering, but the problem area tonight has been to score. Only Geelong's 7th goal for the game. He just got himself forward of the play, and the kick off the ground again. Get the ball running forward, play in front. Pickering was a player on the end of it. 27 possessions. Good evening for him.
Well, just a little toe poke by Brad Scholl. Got the ball forward for Liam Pickering to get the goal for Geelong. Free kick here. It's going to Carey against Stoneham. Umpire in a great position there to make that decision. Only 5 to 7 metres just off the football. Carey goes with the long bomb. 7 goals. 7 goals out of 10.
Well, some players just watch. I've thought Wayne Carey in the 90s has been the best player that's ever played the game. He has dominated centre-half forward like no other player ever has in the history of the game. Tonight, it's just been a matter of making the most of opportunities on a wet, miserable night. 7 of North Melbourne's 10 goals. He has just played a big one.
And he seems to have had all the answers. As soon as Geelong mounts something, get a goal, back goes Carey. and gets another one for North Melbourne. Colbert at centre half forward to Burns. Burns from outside 50. A high kick. Martin gets back and belts it over the boundary line. Strong, isn't he, Mickey Martin? Very, very hard to displace. And the Swans players anxiously watching the result of this game, of course. If North Melbourne win, they're out of it, Bruce.
Gone. Burns, Colbert, a little one off the ground. Oh, Mansfield, he's got it from nowhere, Mansfield. Well, Lee, that's that bit of luck we talked about, just pushing forward, and still they're alive and breathing.
Well, that's the way. You can't manufacture goals unless you're Wayne Carey. Maybe he can manufacture them. But this is just forward football. Keep the ball running forward. Keep knocking it forward. The kick off the ground. Mansfield happened to be on the end of it.
Good push forward by Houlihan, wasn't it?
Yep.
The important thing here, the Cats have got the scoreboard ticking over a bit at long last. 8-7 to 10-13. Houlihan did well to get it to Mansfield. But go forward again to North. Scholes had a good second half. McKernan, beautiful take. Tries to get the ball forward. Chandler, a long handball, but to the opposition. Steinford in trouble. Little handball under pressure, Sanderson. North relentless. It seems to me, Lee, that every time Geelong get one, North grit their teeth and want the next one again.
Yes, no, they're going to make sure they're there to defend their premiership. It seemed something strange, didn't it? That one of last year's grand finalists was going to be out of the competition tonight.
Riccardi on the bench, we saw a moment ago. Barnes, Longmire tries to work him underneath. North at half forward, that's where they want the footy, not where Geelong do. Pete McKenna, you're watching up there. Do you give the Cats any hope from here? Just 3 goals?
I think it's too difficult under the conditions, Bruce. They're playing too well, North Melbourne. They're tough and hard and they're desperate. They want to be in the rest of the finals.
And just a quick one. I know you kicked 10 in the semi-final here, 6 in the first half of a final. What about Carey's display? One of the great efforts, do you think, by a forward?
One of the great games of all time. His skill under the conditions for a big man, unbelievable. And his kicking for goal, absolutely sensational.
Yes, it certainly has been a wonderful performance. The umpires found a free kick, and it's going to get away from the danger area for Geelong. It is a free kick back there to be taken by Barnes. John Barnes in the left back pocket. Had a fairly quiet night. 6 kicks, 2 hand passes, 6 marks, and just 2 hit-outs. A high kick. It's out towards the wing, nearly taken there by Milburn. Attempted kick forward by Snell. Archer dispossessed. So was King. Kicked out there by Blakey for a boundary throw-in. 18 points is the margin in favour of North Melbourne. They've led at every change of the Kangaroos. 6 points at quarter time, 9 points at half time, and 15 points at three-quarter time. Barnes and Longmire. Longmire to the front, Milburn. Pickering, back to Milburn. Just enough time to deliver with a bit of precision, but Houlihan couldn't take the mark. David King quite prepared to allow it to go over. And every time there's a boundary throw-in, I guess precious seconds tick away. Yeah, good crowd again tonight, Bruce.
55,561. That's a terrific turnout.
Yep. Sunday night. First Sunday night game here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. A final between Geelong and North Melbourne. McKernan running with the flight of the ball. Again, he wouldn't be all that disappointed. The boys are getting tired, and as you get tired, I guess it becomes even more difficult, considering that it is a greasy ball, it is greasy conditions, and it's going to be just about insurmountable now, the task confronting the Cats. North prepared to just knock it back continually for boundary throw-ins. Adam Houlihan looks in a little bit of strife, and Lynch, of course, with a groin injury, and it may have been young Steinford as well on the bench there.
Yes,
now the umpires found a free kick, Lou.
I was going to say Stephen King has come on to replace Steinford, but given that the ball isn't being marked by anyone else, any other key forward other than Carey, be interesting to see if that helps at all.
Free kick to the Cats. Milburn's been good, hasn't he? He's the one that kicked the ball forward. Scholes got it now.
23 possessions to Milburn
in his first final, so he's had no stage fright at all. Brad Scholl Back to half forward. Colbert front spot. Good take. Not paid. Thought he had a fair bit of it, actually. It is paid.
I think it's a kicking in danger against Anthony Stevens for McKinnon.
Thanks, Robbo. So McKinnon, about 80 metres out. Just going forward again. 18 points the margin. Archer good. Over the line. So here's that little kick by Stevens and McKinnon getting it. So the Cats, 18 points. There's still plenty of time. 8 minutes. One goal here makes a huge difference to the match. King works to the front. Longmire free kick to who? To Geelong.
Don't believe that.
Well, this is the one thing that can happen when you get the big, tall ruckman. Longmire's been very good tonight, but I think all of us, when we have a look at ruck contest, let's have a look at it. Well, I suppose Longmire's arm is tucked under King's, but gee, whenever there's a ruck contest, I must say, we all look at the umpire. There's no one sure what's happening.
This to keep the Cats in it. It's close. He likes it. It's only 2 goals. I think now they've got a chance. They're close enough now to have a real chance. 9-7 to 10-13.
Yes, they have. And again, it has to come from errors or half chances or bits of luck. Whether it's an umpiring error or whether it's an error by Longmire for just hanging on, either way, it was pretty questionable.
Gee, what a finish now to what's been a great game of football.
Well, you wouldn't believe it. Just a few minutes ago, Stephen King was on the bench. He's just kicked a goal to bring the Cats to within 2 goals of North Melbourne. Snell forces it forward. David King. Where's Ronnie Burns? King's got it again. That's Big Stephen. Kick forward by Kilpatrick. Can they take a mark here? No, they can't, because Glenn Archer stands tall and strong for the Kangaroos across that full-back line. 2 goals is the margin. Archer's kick. Short. McKernan not really in a position there to do much about marking the ball. Mickey Martin prepared to take it over for a boundary throw-in.
They've swapped ruckman, North Melbourne. Longmire off and Mark Roberts onto the ground.
Big finish now. Cats are close enough to have a real dip at this. Barnes, crowd getting heavily involved. Snell onto it. Good tackle by Pike. Looking for a free kick was Kilpatrick. And again, a ball up. Just a quick one, Couchy. You reckon you can get up? You're 2 behind.
Oh, Barnes is very important here. This last couple of minutes has been fantastic, getting into his on-ballers there. A little bit of luck here. We get a goal here. We're certainly in this game with Barnes being on the ball.
McKernan tries to get it down, put a hocking. Little gift giving back to Snell against the flow. Out of play. And what about you, Flossie? What about North? They're 2 in front.
Yeah, we're 2 in front still, Bruce. You know, we're in front. We're just got to keep possession of the ball and keep playing the percentages, mate.
Okay.
You would think that North Melbourne, to tie this up, would have to go down the ground and score. Geelong, of course, have got to kick the 2 goals. They've got to kick 2 scores, 2 accurate kicks to draw level.
This is where Geelong forwards have to pull away from this contest. Try and create a bit of space around this ball up, not congregate to it and try and, being too desperate to get involved.
Steinford on the ground for Geelong, and he's going to get into the play. Dumped unceremoniously. Riccardi. Oh, gee whiz, the idea was right. The kick just falling short and gathered by Anthony Stevens. He kicks out in front. Not able to take the mark was Danny Stevens, but his hand pass was effective to Carey. Carey's kick to full forward. Mark Ellison. And Gary is...
It's a frustrating game. He saw Riccardi, he saw his team coming on, and Riccardi came back inside but missed the target. And as soon as it was cut off by North Melbourne, well, forward it went, and now they've set up the shot.
Fantastic kick by Carey. Could they have a better player, but Carey, for take this kick than Ellison?
Well, it's 20 metres out, straight in front. Really, it should be anyone, but he's a pretty good kick, Ellison. He runs in pretty quick, gets his momentum going. It's only a matter of making sure he keeps his composure.
Going for his 3rd goal, and he's got it. Breathing space for the Kangaroos. 3 goals to Ellison. Percentage player, not many kicks, only 6. So 3 goals has certainly been a contribution.
And just maybe if it highlights, I think, the way the ball was turned over on the half-back line, it maybe highlights Geelong's problem tonight. they've tried to set up the play too much. Maybe Riccardi just should have turned inside and gone straight at the goals, but that's okay in hindsight when the turnover came.
Kangaroos celebrating again. 9, 7, 11, 13. Allison's got 3. Carey's got 7. They've got 10 out of the 11 between them. Steinford goes forward to half forward. Mickey's got it. I reckon he's going to play his 200th match next week. He's on 199. If North had lost tonight, he would have had to wait till next year. He's been asked by Andrew Coates to get on with it. 18 points the margin. Martin to centre wing. McKernan, Barnes. Simpson tried to read it. Hocking desperately towards the line. Cats have got to get it forward. There's Scholl, McKernan, boundary throwing. 61 to 79. There's going to be some sore boys tomorrow.
Yes, it's been a real struggle, and I got a feeling McKernan was sore before the game even started. He's in the ruck now, but they didn't want to put him in there early.
Bell forward. Carey couldn't control it. McKinnon gives it up. Carey in the action again. Going to get run down. Got his kick away. Up towards full forward. In the box is McKernan. Allison dispossessed. McKernan limping. Looks like it might be a bit of a hip injury that he's trying to run out there. He doesn't want to go off the ground, obviously. The umpire will bounce about 30 metres out from the North Melbourne goal. They're home in this game. 4 minutes left. They lead by 3. Kicked out of there by Danny Stevens. Knocked forward by Bell. Sanderson gets back for the Cats. Kicks it out wide, close to the line. Should be gathered by Schwass. It is. And he does it quite skillfully and kicks it inboard where Scott is marked on his chest. Riccardi just arriving a little late. 18 points the margin in favour of North Melbourne. Allison indicating into the pocket, but you would think Scott would kick to the front of the square. He has. In the direction of McKernan. Chandler at the front of the pack. Knocks it to Allison. Gives away ground to Roberts. Gives the ball up to McGrath. The Cats are away.
Bluey from half-back. Straightens his body and kicks it as far as he can to centre wing. Colbert worked underneath the footage. Mickey Martin's got it. They're the Sydney players who must know now that they finished for 1997. They had a very good season. It fell away late for them, and they will not be playing next week. Sydney and Brisbane, who did so much last year, are the first casualties in the first week. And the biggest winners? Well, the Western Bulldogs, huge winners this weekend. And obviously North Melbourne tonight. Bad luck to the Swans. The Lions went out earlier today. Going forward, McGrath. Blakey, Pike, they do look alike at times, forces it to the line. And I think the percentage play of North tonight has been spot on, hasn't it?
Well, they've had the 1 forward, 7 goals from Carey. I mean, we can talk about a lot of factors, but that's probably it in itself. We only have to look at one.
Another free kick picked out of the ruck contest. And this time it's going to North Melbourne. It may have been off the ball. Gary Hocking minding the mark. The free kick will go to Chandler. The play is at right half back for the Kangaroos. It's about 65 metres out from the Geelong goal. They lead by 18 points, North Melbourne. And we're down to 2.5 minutes left in the game. Stoneham trying to keep the ball in. And the free kick is against Carey. He went back thinking it was going to him. But in fact, it is to Stoneham for Geelong. Kick will land at half forward. Kicked away by Anthony Stevens. Gathered by Robert Scott. Smothered off the boot. Taken by Milburn. Can't do much with it. Another free kick. This time it's going to North Melbourne. So the start of the quarter, when the umpires didn't give many free kicks at all, towards the end of the match, they're finding a few. Robert Scott with the ball. North Melbourne to advance for 1 more week at least. And Geelong will have to play next week. Good fortune for the Western Bulldogs, who will go straight into week 3 of the finals. Of course, a preliminary final berth. McKernan has the football in the middle of the ground, and he's quite prepared to hang on to it for as many seconds as he's allowed to.
Second time only since the final 8 that Team 7 has beaten Team 2. It happened in the first year. Carlton beaten by Melbourne. But in the last 2 years, the top 2 teams have gone straight on to the preliminary final. So it's a big performance, isn't it, against the odds by North Melbourne.
Yes, I think they were always going to be a very dangerous 7th place team going into the finals if they cracked anywhere near their best form, and I suppose their best form means Wayne Carey anywhere near his best.
Schwass kicks the ball over centre wing, Stoneham belts it away. And now we have the Cats back in the mix next week, don't we?
Yes, well, all of a sudden they've dropped to 5 and 6 in the rankings because the two losers from next week go to the lowest of the rankings, don't they?
So briefly, Couchy, we're nearly at the end. It's going to be tough now for Geelong.
It's certainly going to be hard here, but one factor, as Lee said, W. Carey, sensational tonight.
Thanks for your efforts tonight, Paul.
Thank you.
And Ian Fairley, congratulations. A great effort by North, and you might be defending that championship.
Yeah, well, Bruce, it looks good, and after a pretty indifferent season, I think Dennis would be very happy with the way the boys have played tonight to start their finals campaign.
Thanks to both of you tonight. We've enjoyed your contribution.
Thank you.
Paul Couch and Ian Fairley. As we come towards the end of what's been a great game of football. Barnes wins the tap. Hocking tries to get it away. Roberts goes forward. Taken by Riccardi. And out on the full. Doesn't count for as much now. The good thing about tonight, Lee, these 2 teams who have played so well, really, are still alive.
Yes, that is true. They've been very, very good.
Sanderson hooks it back. Rock has made a good return to footy to Bell. The 2 little fellas have been good. Bell and Rock. Kangaroos win it. Bell from the pocket. So North Melbourne by 18 points. Bad luck for Gary Ayres. Dennis Pagan has a great record. There's Ron Casey, the chairman of the North Melbourne Football Club, a great friend to us here at the 7 Network. I reckon he would have been pretty pleased with what's happened in the last couple of weeks. There's Wayne Carey. What a game. Peter McKenna said one of the best games for a forward in a big fight.
Just listen to these stats. 19 kicks, 2 handballs, 10 marks and 7 goals at centre-half forward in what turned out to be wet, slippery conditions. That is some game.
7 goals without a miss. 9-7 to 11-13.